Yo, 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 yo.
What's up, man?
Did you see the pictures of the new proposed arena setup, Dave?
Dude, that's insane.
Second
That
tallest building in the United States, dude. Did you hear that
insane.
part?
Blake and I were talking about it the other day.
Blake, thank you for sending me the pictures. I haven't responded, but shit, look at this stuff, dude.
The second I saw that building, I was like, that looks so enormous. And then there's like 4 other buildings that are around it.
Oh yeah.
And then I started like looking at it, and I started realizing that like those like 4 other buildings were almost the size of Devon. I was like, what?
Dwarfs everything.
This whole area is just booming, man. And it's so exciting for Oklahoma City.
Oh man, I hope they get that done. It's great to at least dream that way. Yo,
right?
Speaking of getting it done, we smashed the Grizzlies, which every victory against the Grizzlies by a substantial margin is a little bit chipping away back at that 70-point loss that we had that one time. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. Listen,
just a little bit.
What we're seeing from Chet, yeah, I'm just gonna say it right now, dude. Chet looks to me like an all-time great. The only thing that he doesn't have right now is enough repetition to know how to go out and get 30 every night. But if you look at those blocks, dude, he had 7 of them in 3 quarters. My God. And dude, they were spectacular. And like he just tied Serge Ibaka's record for the most blocks in a 2-game span in Thunder history.
I got a question for that. Michael Cage said that, but then I did the Michael Cage math on that, by the way. 7 plus 9 is 16. And yet Serge Ibaka holds the record with 15.
Okay. So
Michael Cage, you messed us up, man.
Okay, so you're saying he got the record. Plus,
I think he got the record.
He's knocking down threes, right? He's dunking on people. People are throwing lobs. Like what he's doing, if you just looked at the study, the highlights, you'd be like, well, this is one of the best players in the league. Like, and you're like, oh, well, his stats aren't like, whoa, eye-popping other than the blocks. But it's like, how long does it take for a superstar to get to the point where he's averaging 30? Like, players don't come in and average 30 right away. None of them do. So what is it going to take for him to get there? 4 years. 4 years of him just being consistent. Like this guy, Chet is special. Oh, and by the way, Shai put up 30.
You're wrong. 4 years? No, bro.
Okay, tell me. How long?
I'm sorry, man. All right, what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen. Chet is going to be an all-star this year. After he's an all-star this year, he's going to be second all-NBA team this year. All right, second all-NBA. He might get stuffed down in the third all-NBA team just because he's a rookie, but he will be
the
in the
all-NBA average
won't
be as high as what people want. That's the
right.
trick.
And then his second year, he's going to come back and he's going to be immediately an all-star starter. He's 22, going to 24? Be first team All-American, first team All Defense. I'm sorry. And this year he will be in first team All Defensive team as well. Next year he'll be the Defensive Player of the Year. He will have all these other things that he's coming in. This is what we've been saying about Chet, man. When people were saying that Chet was going to be this type of player or whatever, and we would sit there and laugh at them because we knew Chet was going to be a way better idea of what he was going to be. I knew that he was going to be putting up insane block numbers.
You were saying that it wasn't fair for Wemby that people comparing Chet to Wemby. Yeah, because Chet was so much more ready for the NBA, and Wemby just needs some more time, and that's fine. Like we think he's got supreme talent. He does things that nobody else can do. But where Chet is at right now, like nobody in the league, no center in the league should be forced to be compared to him because he's one of one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's the big dick energy, bro. And I think that's something that you cannot deny at this point is that what you're seeing right now with Chet is truly spectacular. But I want to take this one step further. Can we please do that? Do you mind me doing that?
Oh, I always like it when you do that.
All right. So I've been looking at great duos, and I had a couple duos on that was pulled up here. Like when I say duos, I'm going straight defensive duos. We'll talk about the offensive in a second. But defensive duos in the NBA, right? In my opinion, the pinnacle of defensive duos has to start with the Los Angeles Clippers, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, right? I think that would be one of the best duos in the league, if not the best. Let's just put it out there. I think it's the best because if you're going to say
they're good, but I don't love it because they're both wing defenders. So kind of like
all right. So then we can go with Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels, who both of those guys I feel like are really good defenders. Then you jump down one more in the East. Giannis and Brook Lopez, right? So those are some of the better defensive duos in the league. And I know that you guys will have some great defensive duos that are out there that
there's something lacking with those. I mean, like, seriously.
But if you take the straight up best duo in the league, you got to start right now with one of the lead blocking, centers, one of the lead blockers in the league right now, which is Chet. I think he's top 3, top 4, whatever he is. Then Shai's the best. He's leading the league in steals by, I think he only's got like 2.9 a game right now or something like that. So, and he's leading the league by almost a single steal a game. So think about that, guys. So there's not even a close second place to that. I think I was looking at, Shai has more steals than he does turnovers. So I think he has like something crazy, like something 60 something steals and 27 turnovers. So
wow.
His turnover ratio compared to steals is insane right now. So then you start looking at that, and then you start saying, okay, is Chet and Shai the best defensive duo in the league?
For sure.
And you cannot deny that these two guys are the best duo in the league in defense. I think anybody at this point that would say, well, and then they start thinking about it. Any bright mind in the NBA will say, well, and they start thinking about it, and they're like, you're right. This is the best defensive duo in the league, because you're saying the best defensive guard in the league right now is Shai, and he's proving that right now. And then the best defensive big man right now in the league, in my opinion, is Chet, and people are starting to recognize that. Yes, I'm a little bit biased on that part, but I don't give a shit right now because Chet is so spectacular. The things that he's doing, the blocks that he's getting from, where he's jumping from, it's just insane, man. Like, it's things that we haven't seen in a generation of players. I mean, we're talking like Kevin Garnett type shit, and it's like, what?
Yeah, and it's not hard to really. I think we're going to be about the same level of team again, about a 500 team.
Yeah.
So how much does Chet help us? How much are we above 500? I think that's a fair assessment of this season right now.
I agree, man.
It's going to keep going, but this guy is a game changer. And we're finding ourselves in a spot where we win games, and our starters can rest the whole fourth. And that's great, because you know what? We're about to hit a really tough stretch, Dave.
I know. It's really going to be hard, bro.
But, these games are good for us right now because we're, like, learning to put teams away. And that bench unit, Dave, they made sure that we played all 48. I was really proud of what they did. Because the Jazz, they embarrassed our bench. And they almost made us feel like we had to put the starters back in.
They did sometimes, though, bro.
It does happen, but the bench decided that they were going to take some pride on defense.
Yeah.
And when you got down, I think we were 15 deep in that at the end there. Like, Mitchich was making plays. Trey Mann was making plays.
Yeah.
Sarr was making plays. I really was proud of that group. But going back to how we put them away, because look, at first, half, it was kind of back and forth. We couldn't really create any separation until the last couple of minutes. That was sweet, and then the third quarter, it was over. And that's how we want to play games, bro. Like, if we can do that, we're ready for the playoffs. It might take 2 years for us to do that, but if we can do that, we don't have to push Shai. He gets 30 and 3, we're good.
This is what we have to do against teams like this. I'm sorry. It just is. I mean, this team will be completely different in March. This team will be completely different in March and April. I think that this team could do something like, I don't know, they got 57 games left, something like that. 35 and 12, maybe. They could do something like that, something crazy like that when you get everybody back that they're missing. But even then, that's still going to put them at the 6th seed. And it's crazy because, I mean,
I think they're missing more than they think. I don't think they're one player away. I think
they're not, but they have 6 guys right now that are on the injured list, and all the 6 guys are major contributors on this team. So I think that this team is a shadow of the team that will be.
Right. But we weren't doing that last year. We weren't beating the teams that we should be.
And yeah, this third string team, like let's say it was Micic, Trey Mann, Livia Sarr, Usman Jang, like that team right there, like they gave up a lot of points at the end of the game. Now, that's not a diss on them, but they gave up a lot of points, and otherwise this would have been a 30-point blowout.
It would have been, should have been, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because these guys were able to get to that bench right there, and Shai, like you said, 30 points.
Talk to me about Giddey, because I thought he played a really good game. 16 points. It's a double-double. I mean, it was double-double in rebounds. That's controlling what you can control. You know?
You're right. And if you looked at some of the times that he was the people that were guarding him, smaller guys, like he was able to use his size and to that advantage. And the reality of the situation is that everybody's eyes were on Chet and Jalen and Shai and sort of Dort. I mean, Dort was shooting well last night, so they're constantly looking at him.
Yeah.
So Josh Giddey got left in the afterthought a lot of what was happening. And I've said this before. I truly think that when we play at home, Josh will get more playing time. And that's just more to protect Josh and make sure that Josh is being taken care of. Last night, 24 minutes and 6 for 12 from field goal. And that was exactly what he needed to do. He had 12 rebounds, man, 4 assists, 1 steal, and he was just everywhere. He got a couple deflections. And I felt like what Josh is doing is exactly what we need for this team. And I get it. Some people are going to continue to talk shit on him and add him to every single trade. But we all know deep down inside that there's something special with Josh, and we just got to hold on tight and keep on going and see what he can bring us.
He didn't knock down a 3 that I remember, and they left him completely alone. So he's getting that Dort treatment. He's going to have to work his way through that. But when the NBA teams decide that's how they're going to challenge you on the 3-point line, it actually becomes just target practice. And he'll figure it out. It's about taking your time, stepping into it. I see what he does. He'll keep working at it, and when he starts knocking him down, they'll start closing out. And when he does, he'll be able to drive past him.
That's it.
His whole game will keep getting better. But man, he kept finishing at the basket. But what you got?
Before we get out and not get out of here, but before we stop talking about the Grizzly game here, I want to say I'm kind of disappointed, man. When we talked about the beginning of the year and you said, without Ja Morant, what do you think this team will go? Do you remember what I said?
No.
I said 5-20, and you laughed. This team went 6-19, bro. I was 1 game up.
Damn. I don't remember laughing,
dude.
But
this is when we knew that Ja was not going to play and he was done. I knew that this Grizzly team was not going to be good, and I still question whether or not they should bring him back and bring anybody back and make this team healthy, because they could really utilize the draft picks this year. And the draft is really strong, and they could get another guy around Ja to have a 1-2 punch that would be a pretty sick combo of a 7-2 guy. And I think that this would be a really smart way of doing things. But I think Memphis Grizzlies is in the win now situation. Even though I think that they should at least get 1 more year of drafting before they should be done.
Right on, dude. Now let's talk about the Thunder, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we at right now? Obviously, we started out talking about Chet and Shai defensively. I mean, I feel like that's what we need to focus on, because we're entering really rarefied territory about dominance, I think. It's hard to really comprehend and compare it. I just think a lot of times with these types of situations, we look for historical comparisons, and I really don't think there is one, because right now we're seeing the beginning of Chet's rookie year. We don't really know what we're going to see. His dominance is going to be something special.
Well, let's just put this in like porn terms, guys, so that you guys like that shit, right? For a long time, I've been trying to explain this team to people, and the only way I can really explain it is that you've got showers and growers, right? And as much as I want to say that this Oklahoma City Thunder team is a shower, right? I feel like this Oklahoma City Thunder team is a grower. Behind the curtains, they're like a 11 and a half inch cock. You just got to wait until it grows before you see what's happening. So that's what I feel like with this Thunder team, is that we're still not seeing the best. We're not even close to understanding how big this team could get and how good this team could get. And I think is the more time that we just be patient and just wait and
don't rush it.
Yeah, utilize the weapons around us, bro.
So, I like that. That's really good. I can't one up it, but I just think a lot of people are afraid to believe that this team is ready to contend this year. And I think the reason they talk themselves out of the Thunder is because of youth. But can we here look past that And can we just say, like, if this team was 4 years into this experiment and this was what we felt like their peak was, could we talk ourselves into them actually being a contender?
If Chet was Shai's age, I think everybody would say that this is a contending team.
Let's just say
but
that this is the best this team ever gets.
Okay.
Like, let's just say the team does not improve for whatever reason. We never get healthy again. What if this is the best this team ever gets? Like, are we a contender?
I mean, that's where I keep going back to, is that if this is the best this team ever gets, we have to find this as a contending team. And the reason is because when you have the best duo on defense, 1-2 punch on defense, and I would consider a top 5 duo on offense, you've got to be sitting there looking at it like, okay, like, and here's the thing is that we know for a fact that even if Chet doesn't get any better at all, and this is the best we'll ever see Chet, that this is good enough. What we're seeing right now from Chet is good enough to be a top 2 team in the league.
What are we seeing from Chet from a clutch perspective? I think is so hard to grasp, but you need to look at this. Like, coach has used, I think, all 4 of his challenges recently on blocks by Chet. And the refs are just not even comprehending what he's doing. And then they missed another one, but coach is out of challenges. Like, they keep calling fouls on Chet, and they go back and they look at it, and they're like, did he do the slightest, littlest, tiniest thing wrong? And they can't find one thing he's doing wrong, dude. I've never seen a defender play so perfectly.
But you know what's happening now, though?
Is
when coaches challenging those calls, the refs are second guessing themselves when Chet goes up to block a shot now.
I know.
And it's insane to me because they're like, I don't want to call that.
Because he does it right. They give him the benefit of the doubt now. They're starting to begin to, barely.
And this goes back to Carson right here saying we're not getting talked about on ESPN. You're right.
It's coming. It's coming.
But guess what? When you have somebody like Chet out there that's demanding people, like putting up 9 blocks against Denver,
all-time
putting up
stuff,
7 blocks right here,
all-time
great. Now, like this is again what we're seeing is like people are going to start saying, oh yeah, and then obviously with Shai, 3 steals, 4 steals, 5 steals, 6 steals.
Dude, like, we're the most exciting team in the NBA by far.
And people are going to start seeing that, and then that's when it gets going crazy. Is like that's when people are like, okay, I want to watch this game, and it's all about numbers. Like when the numbers on NBA TV and all the illegal platforms are really high up on the Thunder, and that's when they start broadcasting it. And right now, it's just not there.
But it's coming, because when you watch this team play with what Shai does below the rim and what Chet does above the rim, like, there are more moments. You throw in J-Dub and Giddey's passes and another sideline out of bounds bucket for Giddey. Like, you find yourself cheering out loud more than I have ever felt with one team. Like, there was peak of Oklahoma City Thunder when we went to the finals, right? That year, you found yourself cheering out loud a lot. But most of the out loud cheering took place in the playoffs. Right now, I'm constantly up out of my seat because of things that Chet's doing that I had no idea he could do. So I'm in, like, shock. I'm like, constantly. He's playing the game perfectly. He knocks down the threes. He defends at a high pace. He gets out and runs. He gets to his spots and knocks down shots, and he's dunking on everybody. Like, if you were to design a player, like, you would be like, oh yeah, he might be like Chet. But you could not give him the will that Chet has, the toughness, the refusal to let. He jumps for a block, all right? Then he double jumps, and then he gets a block. I'm like, who does that? It's like, he doesn't give up on a play, and he fights, bro.
And you got to look at it. You got to look at it. Like I go back to the greats, right?
The greats.
One of the things that I've constantly gone in my mind is Mark and I used to grow up listening about Pistol Pete Maravich's life, right? And how he would always have a basketball around and shooting it before bed and spinning it on his finger constantly, right? And that's what Mark and I did. We walked around with a basketball constantly. And I look at that, like at Michael Jordan when he was doing interviews with NBA teams, he had a basketball with him. You know, Dirk Nowitzki had a basketball with him, and you know all these other greats that have consistently always had a basketball in their hands. And then I started looking at all these like photos of Chet. Like, what does he always have in his hand? Always fucking has a basketball in his hand. Like always. If there's a basketball around, Chet has that basketball in his hand. And you start recognizing, you start hearing like coaches say, yeah, he's a gym rat. He'll sit there and wants to learn more and does whatever it takes. And then you start putting it together. Like this is somebody that's not normal. Like this is somebody that's not normal. And as much as we want to say that like Shai is going to be the best player that the Oklahoma City Thunder is ever going to have, like people are starting to whisper that maybe it's Chet. Maybe it's Chet, because if Chet is able to do the things that he's able to do on defense and offense, it's going to open up Shai's game so much more, and it's going to make anything more possible. And we don't know what the cap is at that point, and that's why we're here.
He reminds me
figuring out that cap
so much of KD in moments,
so much,
and then so much of Serge Ibaka in moments, and then you start realizing, there's never been a player like Chet before. Like, there's never been somebody who can play the game at a level where, like, from perimeter orientated, protect the basket, get downhill, and because you don't want to have a Jeff Green who just shoots threes and doesn't attack. I mean, early career, Jeff Green, late career was excellent. But my point is, like, that was why we traded him. Like for what Chet is, dude, like the weight that he puts on his shoulder and the way he finds ways to impact every single play, like, we're talking about a historical all-time great. The question I have for Coach D, for Shai, for Chet, for J-Dub, for Giddey, for Dort, you know, do they recognize how great they can actually be? I think Coach is letting them figure it out, because Shai has learned to play with Chet so much over the first 20 games. In the next 40 games, that combo of Shai to Chet, Shai to Chet, Shai to Chet, the more that is used, the more, like, the better this team will be. Like, I'm telling you right now, dude, in the history of the game, there is nobody else that I'd want to be in a foxhole more with than Chet Holmgren. Ever. I'm just saying it, dude. That guy will get shot and he will get back up, and he'll get shot again and he will get back up. He's like the Terminator out there, dude. People talked about him being soft, about him being weak, like he couldn't take a hit, like he would break. Dude, he is breaking people, and they are complaining and they're calling fouls, and it's time they change the fucking game for Chet, because he is getting ripped off on blocks. He is getting ripped off on foul calls, and they need to fucking study some fucking film, and they need to realize he's the best fucking defender in the league, and they need to stop fucking him, bro.
Dude, Jack Harlow says it the best, baby. I'm vanilla, baby. That's all we need to know about Chet, is he's vanilla, baby. That's it. That's it, man. We're special. He's special. We're all in this together, guys. We love you guys. Talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.